So I tweeted and I had an overwhelming response. A lot of fans out there, as we know. So let's start with this. Lexi wants to know, Heroes vs. Villains was one of the most epic seasons in Survivor history. How does season 40 live?
That's what I would compare it to. That's a perfect question because it felt the same way. I remember standing on the beach telling them they were heroes and villains, and they're all looking around. I remember Rob going, "I'm a villain?" And you're like, "Yes."
He's a villain.
On Survivor, you're a villain. It's the same thing. When the 20 walked up on the sand spit and I got my first look at him, even I had a moment of going, whoa, I need to take this in because this is also 20 years of my life. And you felt that same, it's almost as if they know they're representing the 40th season, like a NBA All-Star game, so they're going to give you some really fun trick plays. It felt like that. Like they all said, it's almost like Tony was gonna say, of course I'll build a spy shack.
Yeah.
I'm expected to.
I'm expecting a spy mansion at this point from him. Kelly wants to know, who are you most surprised said yes to coming back?
Amber.
Yeah.
And how that worked is, I called Rob thinking he's gonna say no for sure. And I said, hey, is there any chance, I know we're doing 39 together with this Island of Idols, that you would play in 40 if we did something big? And he goes, let me talk to Amber. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, we're both gonna do it. You're kidding us. She doesn't know it yet, but we gotta let our kids see. Like his point was, our kids need to see how we met. They need to see what mom and dad did before they were born.
It's their love story, and they have these 4 adorable daughters.
Their kids are amazing.
Yeah, I love it.
So that was the biggest surprise, Amber.
This Twitter user is called Probst Thoughts. Is the giant Boston Rob head in his backyard?
He probably wishes it was.
Yeah.
No, but you know what's cool about those is the idea was, I called our art department and said, what if we did Mount Rushmore and we made gods, statues? And they first wrote back and said, dude, we're in the middle of an ocean. We can't make statues. And I was like, oh, really? To think how cool that would be. And then to their credit, man, these guys, Zach and Dax came back and they said, we got it. We're gonna do 3D imaging of our idols, Rob and Sandra. And then they constructed these, they were gigantic, and put them on a barge across the ocean in 6 pieces, took them off on the sand, then had cranes putting the pieces in place because those heads were enormously heavy as well. And then when they got up there, you had these bookends. It was weirdly it was surreal because it looked like you'd transformed the island. There were these 2 giant heads. It's ridiculous.
No, it is ridiculous.
But it worked.
Michelle Collins says, OMG, my dream interview. What is in his many pockets?
Always got an advantage or 2. Usually have a flint, and a lot of times we'll have like a secret note that we're gonna read, but no, otherwise, not a damn thing.
Christian Hubicki from David vs. Goliath wants to know, if you have the time, please ask Jeff if he has fully psychologically recovered from my 5.5-hour lecture. I care for his mental health.
Okay, here's the best part of that challenge. This is the truth. We test our challenges, long process. You know, they have to work, right? We get 1 shot with you guys, so a challenge has to work. That challenge we had done before, and we take these copious notes. Somewhere in there, we missed 1 note, which is you have to keep your back on the thing. We thought it was gonna go 22 minutes. An hour in, I'm looking across the water at Kurhofer, or the beach going, what is going on? 2 hours in, like, what, something is happening. What is going on? Later he told me, he goes, dude, we let them move their back this time. And so it's still a fair challenge, those are the rules. But yes, I was standing next to Hubicki, who's like, since I have the opportunity, I'm gonna ask you every question I've ever thought about Survivor. And then this accident turned into one of the most epic challenges where the underdog, the David, beats the Goliath.
Yeah.
It was a really cool moment, and it was, for Christian, I know it was a really big deal. He was crying out there saying, I'll never be here again, I can't give up.
Rick_Devins wants to know, who are your favorite contestants that live in Macon, Georgia? It's Rick Devins.
Yeah, I love Devins.
They're all kind of coming out of the woodwork. They want to get their Jeff questions in. Last one.
I want to go back to Devins.
Yeah.
For people who like to criticize, I love when people criticize our twist because it tells me they're involved and they're invested. Edge of Extinction, some people love it, some people hate it.
Yeah.
But it is amazing how many times people come up to me and say, Rick Devins, Reem, love them. And I go, do you like Edge of Extinction? No, hated it. But you wouldn't have Devins or Reem without it. Devin's Survivor life was only enhanced because of Edge of Extinction. So usually in those twists, even though people may not instantly like them, there is something we're going for, which is you have great people out there. Let's keep them around.
What do you say to some of the fans that don't like that because they want the traditional Survivor?
I totally get it. And if they were running the show, that's maybe what they would do. And I'm not saying it would be wrong. My feeling is, if we stayed with some true version of Survivor, whatever that is, we wouldn't still be on. People also say you shouldn't have idols. And then I say, but your top 20 moments of Survivor probably involve an idol at Tribal, where somebody's mind gets blown. So we just try to look at it as what is fun for the audience to watch and what makes it hard for the players to play. Like this season on Winners at War, everybody had one thing in common, they had won. And they had all played on different seasons with different twists. So we wanted something to level the playing field. So we put in a new twist that none of you have had to deal with, fire tokens, money. So that on some level, we're starting over. You've all won, but you've never won with this game. And that's what excites us, is now the players have to think and they have to adapt and they have to be prepared for there to be something in this little cactus, you know, rather than it just being an ornament.
That there is something. Thank you so much.
Thank you. What a great interview.
Thank you.
I'm
This is
saying
a lot
things
of fun.
I've never even talked about. It's awesome.
Everyone, make sure to watch Survivor Winners at War Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern on CBS.